We are about to completely transform the head unit in our Toyota Tundra. If you're interested, stay tuned. Let's get right into it. Alrighty, so real quick before we unbox this bad boy, let me go over what the actual specs are because this thing is pretty loaded. I am sure I'm about to butcher the name, Dasaita. I think that's how you say it. That's what we're gonna run with. Nonetheless, this head unit has 8 gigabytes of RAM and it has 256 gigabytes of storage. What that means is you can store videos, music, movies, everything. It comes with wireless Apple CarPlay, which is money. It also comes with wired and wireless Android Auto. The screen resolution says it's 1280 by 720p. I almost didn't want to say that because it makes you think that it's outdated. It's actually really, really good looking. I'll show you later in the video. So this is the G13 version. It's pretty much their newest version and it is a powerful little machine. Okay, this isn't normal paper. This is fancy schmancy paper. Also, you got 30 days to return this. A user manual. I've already gone through this so that you don't have to. We'll get into the rest of it later in the video. So if you're excited, I'm excited. Let's go ahead and unbox this bad boy and let's get this show on the road. So you get 2 bags. First and foremost, this one's going to connect to the back of the head unit. This one's also going to connect to the back of the head unit, but this has your microphone, your GPS, stuff like that. And then you get the screen itself. This thing is an absolute unit. Look how sleek that looks. You can just see how much more screen you get out of this. So this is your factory. This is the new one. I know a lot of people like having those bigger knobs and having these little clicky buttons. I actually haven't even pressed these buttons, so to be determined, but I'd rather have this much more screen. I don't know. What do you guys think? Now that we're inside the truck, we have to remove the head unit, but you have to remove this piece down here, this piece, and then you can get to this piece. With the plastic pry tools, you're gonna put it in through here and push down and then work your way into it. The process will look something like this. I got it out so fast that I didn't even get to record it. I just wanted to see if it was gonna be difficult at all and it popped right out. So you kind of just push one in here and then the next one, you kind of just work your way like that. So for this, you don't have to disconnect anything. Some people do, some people don't, but you don't have to. You can just leave it as it is. And then this next piece should just, all right, this one we are going to unclip. Ta-da. We're just gonna set this bad boy down there. And now you have the actual head unit itself. So to get this out, there's 4 screws. 1, 2, and then 3 and 4. We're gonna need some tools. All right, so we need a 10. We need a 10. Boom, boom. And we may need an extension. This hopefully should be long enough to reach. If not, Walmart, here I come. There, we got another one out. The screws are all the same, so don't worry about mixing them up. All right, so we got all 4 out. Now we should be able to just... All right, real quick before we move on, these yellow clips are important, and one of them didn't come out. One of them didn't come out, but it did. It just flew all the way back here, so just make sure you keep an eye out for that. Here it is. And we're gonna take this one off once we have it off, but right now your goal is to unplug everything. All right, just like that, we got the head unit out. Bada boom, bada bing. The head unit is out, but we're not completely done with it yet. Remember, we still need this yellow clip, and then we're also gonna take off these metal panels. There's one on each side, and all you need for that is a Phillips head screwdriver. I said all you needed was a screwdriver, and then I realized I didn't have a screwdriver. Nonetheless, we'll make it work. Now we've just got to do the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I will say if you have power tools, this would probably be a lot easier. But I also left those at home. Also, don't worry, they're labeled, so right and then left. Alrighty, so in bag 1, you get 2 different connectors. So you can see here off of the instructions, there is CB004 for 2014 to 2019, and then there's CB047 for 20 to 2021. So mine is a 20, so then you just look for it over here. So you see CB004, CB047. So we're gonna use this one and leave this one to the side. Alrighty, so now that we got the head unit, we got the right wiring, now we opened up baggie number 2 and we're gonna connect everything that we can onto here and then we'll take it inside. This is super sweet, they came protected. We're gonna get the antenna and we're just gonna slap this bad boy onto there. I will say all of these connections are unique, meaning you can't really mess this up, which I like a lot. This one is also optional. If you want to add some more USB ports to your system, then you definitely can. I'm going to leave this one out. So this guy is your GPS antenna, and then this is your 4G antenna. So once you have all the cables hooked up, now it's time to actually install this bad boy. So I'm showing you the cables now that I had left over, just so that if you do have a 2020 to 2021, this video will suit your needs better. If you have a 2014 to 2019, this installation is pretty much still the same, except for the wiring harness that you see here is going to be a little bit different. Now, before you go rushing to put everything back in, give me 1 second. Make sure to turn the truck on and actually make sure the head unit turns on. When you're doing this, don't worry if you see an SRS airbag light. The air control module thingy-mabobber isn't plugged in. Once you plug that in, then it will go away, no problemo. But make sure the head unit turns on, check your reverse camera, and now you can go ahead and plug everything in. You put the head unit in first. You make sure that those 2 clips go in properly. Take your time, because if you try to jam it in or there's a cable in the way, something's not right, then it won't line up perfectly. But take your time, just make sure everything's out the way. Slap that bad boy in. Get the 4 10mm bolts, put those in, and then you can go ahead and do the rest. You put in the air conditioning panel, and then you put in the port with all of the USBs. You don't understand how happy I actually am. This head unit just revived my Toyota Tundra. Like, it just took it to a whole new level. There are so many things that I like about this head unit. There are so many things that I want to say about this head unit. But in today's video, we're just going to talk about a few things that I like. I'm also going to talk about a few things that I would recommend to you if you're installing this head unit, just to save you a little bit of time. And then lastly, I want to answer a lot of the common questions that I'm seeing in other people's videos, and I even posted about it on Facebook. And wow, was it a hit. A lot of people wanted to interact with me about this head unit. So there's a lot to talk about, and it's definitely worth the watch. I don't know about you, but I like sound. Like music. I like listening to music. And when you buy a Toyota truck, that isn't at the top of Toyota's priority list. What I'm getting at is this Toyota Tundra is the top of the line, right? $1,794, comes with a JBL sound system, and from the factory, it is pretty bad. Like, it is actually really bad. And I was looking into ways to fix this, and everything led to $1,000 speaker setup, changing out some speakers here, some speakers in the back, and it just seemed like a hassle. But I've also heard about changing out the head unit, and it should make your audio better. Now, some people say it's a little bit better. Some people say it's just a tad different. It is too loud. It gets so loud, I have to turn it down. Before, I would turn it up all the way, and it was meh. It was like half of what this could do, like less than half. Now, it actually shakes my seats. It shakes the windows. This thing rips. It is night and day. It's not even comparable. It's like a whole new truck, the way that you can listen to music in this thing. I cannot say it enough. Moving along into number 2 is a really cool feature that when you put it into reverse, it actually lowers your music. Let's say you have your music pretty high, you're backing up into a parking spot, it'll turn your music down. I think it's a very cool and smart safety feature. You're pulling into a neighborhood, you're pulling into your house, whatever the case may be. If your music is blaring, first off, you probably shouldn't, but I'm telling you, when you turn this bad boy on and you can feel the bass, then you're gonna do it. But nonetheless, when you push this thing into reverse, it'll turn the audio down, making it so that you can hear what's going on outside. If you hit a wall or you hit something, right, you can hear it instead of just bashing into it. I don't know if you can hear walls, but someone's walking behind you, they scream. Whatever the case may be, that is super, super neat. Wireless Apple CarPlay is amazing. Cable. This Toyota Tundra comes with wired Apple CarPlay, but the amount of time it takes me to grab the cable, connect it to my phone, is about the same amount of time that it takes to connect wirelessly. And I'll be honest, it connects quicker wirelessly, but I know there's going to be some doubters out there, so we'll just leave it at the same time. I'm super into efficiency. If I can just have my keys in my pocket, have my phone in my pocket, and just move about, that makes it so much easier for me. So I get in the truck, push the start, then I don't have to pull my phone out, connect it, and then start, setting on my Apple CarPlay. Turn my truck on, the head unit boots up super fast, and Apple CarPlay is already running. That is so good. So let's talk about some of the cool features, some of the cool programs that this head unit actually has. Some of the cool features that I really like right now are, like I stated, the amplifier. If you don't know what this is, pretty much it allows you to change the way you listen to your music. You can turn some stuff up, some stuff down. The reason I'm saying stuff is because I don't know what I'm changing, but I can hear what I'm changing. So you can change it so that you can hear the person's voice more, or you can hear the drums more, or you can hear something else more. And if you're a music head, this is like a kid in a candy store. This is money. So this next feature may not seem that cool to you, but to me, it is absolutely money. So if you know, I came from a Toyota Tacoma. Now, I don't know if they have headed units for the Toyota Tacoma, but if they do, I'm gonna have to look into that, because that would be absolutely sick in my Voodoo Blue Toyota Tacoma. Nonetheless, in the Toyota Tacoma TRD Off-Roads, they had a setting where you could see how off camber you were, or if you were leaning forwards, backwards, and I was so jealous. I thought it was the coolest thing ever, and now I got it. So there's an app called Gyro. Depends on what side of the pond you're on, but it is super sick. So obviously, I'm in a parking lot right now. There's not much off-roading I can do legally, but we're definitely going to have to try this out later and see how accurate it is and how good it works. Even if I can just tell a little bit if I'm about to flip over, that's more than enough for me. And last but not least, it's all of the applications that you can actually access from this head unit. YouTube, Hulu, Instagram, Facebook. Now, I personally wouldn't be using any of these while I'm driving, but there's times where I'm on a road trip and we pull over to eat, and it would be nice to be able just to turn something on the head unit instead of pulling out your phone. I just think having it on the head unit itself would be super sick, a lot easier, and being able to do that is nice. So let's talk about some of the most common questions that I've seen asked about this head unit and this company in general. First and foremost, there are a lot of questions that I want to get to that I can't, just because there's so many, that I will include in the next video. So stay tuned, make sure to subscribe, post notifications, because that next video will go over a lot of information that is related to this. And if you're interested, before you make that purchase, then I would love to help with that. But the first question that I see a lot of is, does your rear view camera still work? Yes, I understand how someone could mess it up. Why? Because I messed it up. But if you just take your time, right, and watch some reviews, it's not that difficult. If you go into it blindly, then you're trying to figure something out that is pretty simple, but it can be overwhelming. Plugging everything in the right way is key. Secondly, the steering wheel controls. A lot of people are curious about them, and they want to know if they still work, if they don't work. From what I've seen, again, if you install it properly, they work. Mine all work except a little bit of a weird quirk. And again, I may have installed something wrong. So on the Toyota Tundra, if you skip a song, it usually is the up button. But on this, it goes backwards. So now it's flipped. So if you want to skip a song, you have to go downwards instead of going upwards. If I figure it out later, I plan on taking out the head unit, going through all the wires again. So in the next video, I will see if I have an update for you. But as of now, that's how it is. But nonetheless, everything else does work. So volume up, volume down, all the other controls to flip through your dash do still work. Everything is working flawlessly. Common question number 3 is, does the radio still work? Again, I can't stress it enough. Plug everything in right and it should work. Yeah, mine works. Mine has no problem, connects. Everything is nice and dandy. Make sure your antennas are plugged in and screwed in all the way, facing up. Make sure there's not any metal that's covering on top of them. And last but not least, Toyota owners, Toyota Tundra owners especially, we like our knobs, right? So like the AC knobs and the knobs that were on the original manufactured head unit were nice. They were cool, tactile, but this one doesn't have them. So a lot of people are questioning the buttons. Are they buttons? Are they haptic? What are they, and do they work? I've had 0 problems. They work, and the screen is very responsive. Everything is pretty accurate. I haven't had any issues just yet. But no, they aren't actual buttons. I do still reach for the knob, and then I realize that I don't have a knob anymore. The only way I will dislike this screen in a month's time is if it stops working. Everything else is so good. I know you're asking, well, Aang, what don't you like about it? Right now, what I don't like about it is that I'm addicted to it. It sounds weird, but I really do have a passion for trucks, modifying the trucks, and enjoying the stuff that we do. And this is one of those things that is going to be so high on my list and so hard to beat because of everything that it's done for the truck. Better sound quality, wireless Apple CarPlay, and that reverse feature, to me, so money. It all depends on what's important to you, but to me, those three features are worth so much.